Hello and welcome to the Business Spotlight interview series. I'm your host, Barrett McDonald, and I'm joined today by Solitha from House of Soleil. We'll edit that out. Is that what you want me to
House
say?
of Soli. House of Soli.
House of Soli. Okay, I'll
Yeah.
start again. We'll edit this part out.
Okay.
Hello and welcome to the Business Spotlight interview series. I'm your host, Barrett McDonald. I'm joined today by Solitha, the founder and CEO of House of Soli. Solitha, thank you so much for joining us today. Would you like to start off by telling us a little bit about what it is you do, and then we'll dive into the questions.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate having this opportunity to share what we do here at the House of Soli. And the House of Soli is the umbrella for Soli Productions Management, Inc. We are a three-facet company: the coaching, production, and management. Yeah, we're rooted in fashion. So my background also is in fashion. I came through this industry as a model. I came to Nova Scotia for university and got my degree in marketing. And from there, it just blossomed into now what we have as the House of Soli. So merging my love and passion for fashion as well as my love for marketing, because I feel both of them really jive well together. And the alignments along the way just now led me to being now an agent and a production creative director, and I coach the talent models and actors into getting landed in our industry with having some background knowledge.
That's amazing. So, since you started just over 5 years ago, what are some of the misconceptions you've discovered about running your own business, and how do you combat them?
I think you can do everything. You can't. I wear many hats out of necessity, because there's not the financial resources isn't there, so you have to take on as much as you can to make it go. But being able to reach out and let go is one of the things I've learned. Because I can't do it all, I have to trust someone else with certain aspect. So for me, combating the fact that, oh, I'm coming in, I have to do it, the stress and pressure is there. Now I have to find people with that expertise in that particular area and channel my focus into the things that I'm really good at. So build a team around you of experts in their field and be able, even if you're at the helm of the leadership role, everybody is leading in their department as well, and be able to adjust to that. So as much as I'm in charge, the people in their department are in charge of leading that, so I have to let that rein go. And that, I guess, for us coming in as new business owners, entrepreneurs, it's hard sometimes, because you want to make sure everything is done the way you want it to be done, and letting the reins go could be a little difficult. So that was one of the things I had to navigate, and learning still as I go with those curves that are being thrown my way. I think that answers.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, what would you say have been your biggest learnings as an employer since you started in business?
Well, from the management end, it's partnerships. So agents aren't employers of the talent. They're contracted. So in that sense, my biggest thing was leaving the personal attachment, because again, coming in from a model perspective, I came in with I want to help you as the model. So I was still the model in my head, helping the other models and creating bonds with them like I would backstage with any model that, showed up in production for runway shows, or on set for a campaign shoot. I'm that friendly, want to be your friend kind of person. My biggest challenge was now separating that emotional attachment to people under my roster, because I became attached. And when that next step of them channeling into either another space, whether the relationship ended great or the relationship ended in a way where, it hurt, I had to learn to be able to be okay with that, and just see it as a business decision, and not a diss on me, the person, but it was time for that person to move on, or it was time for me to cut ties. And that was one of the difficult thing, was letting the people go who needed to go, because it wasn't good for my brand. I just kept them around because I didn't want to hurt feelings, because I know what it felt like to be let go in the other lane of that conversation. So I think for me, that has been the biggest thing. And as I move now into the fifth year of the brand, I've gotten a little bit more tougher on that end as a person. And now it's business. I still have, I don't want to lose me, the person in it, because I love to be Solita Natasha rather than Soli, when it comes to how I manage. And but also now with that element of, okay, it's time to go. That's what's gonna happen. So either I sever or they sever and move on to the next level. That was my biggest thing, because
Uh,
that caused a lot of a mental distress, as well, when people, shifted and tried to break the brand as they left, was really hard for me.
Absolutely, yeah, I can envision that. So what do you look for when you're bringing on employees or subcontractors in that realm? Like, what are the qualities you look for, and how do you foster that positive work environment that reflects yourself?
Yeah. For me, I'm looking for that work ethic. I'm looking for people who are genuinely in this for the love of the industry, because it gets really hard when the jobs aren't coming. There's not a lot in this market to keep people going, especially from the partnership on the roster. There's not a lot of work. And again, my agency filled a gap for diversity. So I'm known for having the roster with a very diverse look. And that also translate into a lot of disappointments, because I'm not getting a lot of bookings. So that means the talent isn't making money and I'm not making money. So that can cause, a lot of, am I not good enough? Or you not doing your job, bringing me work? We forget that this market or the industry is very much still hard when it comes to really showing and promoting diversity. Roles aren't written for people who look like me, in volume. You're going to get the trickle one or two that comes through, and then it's like, oh, maybe let's reach out to Soli management for that, or I need to check a box and I need a black or brown, or this model, or I need a model that fits the diversity conversation. So I come to you. So for me, navigating all of that with them, I look for the person who is going to see beyond all of those gaps that are going to be there in their booking sort of journey, because you're going to have a lot of gaps. You might audition for 100 and get called back for 2, 3. So, I look for people who want this without a doubt, is focused in on it being a part of their journey, because it can't be the only thing that you're using to sustain yourself financially. So those are the key things. When I'm sitting with someone, when they're saying, oh, I'm in this to make money, yes, it is that. However, I need to know that you understand, coming into this, you're going to have to work really hard. And especially if you don't look like the status quo, you're going to have to work even harder and have a tunnel vision. So it was a long answer to your question, but I think people that are focused on the craft and honing that craft and trying to get outside of this market, I listen for that in my conversations with new talent, so that they're not coming in with sitting in the cloud perspective as to what this industry has to offer, and especially in the market here, because it's not a rush of jobs for people who don't fit the bill when it comes to the old status quo.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna
So,
get in trouble for that. I'm not saying I don't get my
no,
white and Caucasian talent get booked as well. It's just, and even with that, their proximity to me, they still don't get a lot of bookings. It's really hard here. And because the market is small and there used to be the ones that had the monopoly, I came in and shook up the conversation. So it's not like, I was welcomed with a red carpet. but I didn't care for that either. I knew it was going to be tough. So I look for people who can see beyond the immediate and is looking for the long term and have a love for this craft that, they're talented with, the gift that they were given.
Absolutely. So your passion and work ethic shines through brilliantly during this interview process. So thinking about that, how do you try to balance your personal life with the demands of running a business?
Do I have a person? I get in trouble for that because it's so intertwined. Like it's fused together. I sometimes try to do stuff that is just gonna be for Solita, Natasha, because again, back home everybody knows me as Natasha. So I try to find her sometimes where I'm just doing things for her, like scuba diving, or I just love being by myself sometimes, or being with my family. It's hard because I'm always, the conversation always goes back to solely production or solely management or solely coaching. So it's hard separating, and it's caused a lot of trouble sometimes in relationships. So it seems like I don't have time for that. Whereas for me, if you're getting involved with me, you're getting involved with the whole aspect of me and the brand. So I'm learning how to navigate that and be a little bit more structured with the brand that is solely and the individual that is solely to Natasha. So I
And
haven't
if
mastered
you
it.
no, if you figure out how to master that, you're going to write 17 books and a lot of
Ooh
people
la
are going to learn
la.
from you, which will be great. So what would you attribute your growth to so far?
Having the alignments around me that were meant to be, those rooted people that come in your life, because that whole thing about relationships, and you look for that tree. It's going to have the roots, the branches, the leaves that fall, and I think it's the rooted alignments that have really kept me going. Because to be honest, I break down and I'm bawling. I don't have the financial resources coming through. It's sometimes hard. I'm thinking, what am I doing? I have a marketing degree, and I love marketing too. So and I'm good at it. I could go that lane and work for a company and be financially sustainable or secured, yet I'm here trying to build something that often hurts me a lot when it comes to my finances and the emotional struggles that I go through. However, every time I'm ready to give up, something happens. And like I said, I'm rooted in faith. So I see it as always that sort of how to put it, guidance that's leading me back to the thing that sometimes I feel like I just want to give up and run away from, and go into the lane where I know I can make money, but then I'd miss that other element of me that allows me to be creative. So yeah, so those rooted alignments, my family, I'm here with my sister and my niece and nephew, and the others are back in the Caribbean. But just having them here and the team, like you asked me about who is on the team at Soli, those four individuals really has been the support that I need. And some of the talent that have come through my roster are in that rooted conversation. So those alignments have kept me going and make this worthwhile. And yeah, the relationships that I've found along the way, other businesses, my partners, BNV Media is one of them, the Lighthouse Arts Center, um, One North End, they've also been, in terms of support outside of the immediate brand and giving me access to opportunities and just allowing me to grow. I attribute it to all of those facets that I consider my rooted alignments.
Absolutely. Tremendous outlook on everything. So thinking back right now in this instant, if you had to start all over again from square one, what would you do differently?
That's a question I often like, how do I answer that? I don't think I would do anything differently, because then I wouldn't be here. And I often go back and say, I wish I didn't meet that, or I wish I didn't do that. However, if I didn't, I wouldn't be at this junction. It would look different. I'm not sure. I don't know what the future looks like, so I don't know what that junction would be. So right now, I'm happy in this space as I grow. It's like I said, I'm crying, I'm laughing, I'm wondering what am I doing here? So I go through all those roller coaster emotions. However, I wouldn't change it. Other than just embracing more of the little things that I can celebrate when that time, and not so quick to move away from it and focus on that's not happening and forgot that this just happened. I'm worried about the other things. So maybe that's the thing I'd fix. Focus a little bit more on the things that brought the smile to my face rather than the ones that, had a flood of tears coming down the cheeks. But
Absolutely,
but the
that's
journey
tremendous.
itself, yeah, the journey itself, all the people I've met, whether they've been, hard cuts or beautiful extensions, I wouldn't change any of it because I wouldn't be sitting now in the living room, chatting with you, and the brand expanding around me. So yeah.
Absolutely. So, last question, bit of a big one. What last piece of advice do you have to a little Natasha who might be watching this clip and thinking about getting into the world of business themselves?
You're good. You're good. You picked up on it, Natasha. That you threw me there when you said the word. I was like, who he talking to? You took me back to the island. Um, I would tell her it's gonna be okay. Um, it's gonna be okay.
And just do
Yeah,
it.
and just do it. Like again. Natasha sat on the stoop in our village, like the little bridge that connected. My best friend, and sort of, that's where we hung out, looking down the village into the ocean, down to the beach, and just saying, I said I was coming to Canada, she was going to the US. At that point my sister was not in Canada as yet, or actually no, my sister was in Canada, but I didn't know how I was going to get there, or get here, and I was just dreaming, and I've lived that dream mentality up until now. Some people might call it delusion. I say, I walk by faith. So I'll tell her to continue walk by faith, even though in that moment she didn't know what she was saying. But I knew I was coming to Canada. I don't honestly don't know how I knew that, but I knew my journey was going to be sort of solidified here. And who knows where it's going to take Natasha Solita. But yeah, her fate and that dream she had to just live big in her head, keep doing it, because then now I'm sitting with this beautiful piece behind me, if I must say so, for a designer who under the House of Soli is going to New York Fashion Week, and I'm helping craft some of the collection that the artwork on it, it's the designer's artwork. We're just helping to build some of the pieces, so we craft, help the designer's vision come alive. So that's what I do too at Soli Production. It's more than create the runway and provide the models. We go heavy into production based on the need for the client. So yeah, it's all around, and like, go back to your last question. I'm trying to keep you here longer, but keep dreaming, Natty. It's gonna pan out, and you're gonna see the fruit of your labor, and it's gonna be beneficial for my nieces and nephews who are gonna be the ones to inherit this. They're my babies, and that's the next generation that's gonna be sitting, having conversations with you and people like you about where the House of Soli ends up in the near future.
Amazing. Well, thank you. And that, what a note to end on. So thank you so much for your time today. And to all of you watching, I look forward to you in our next episode.
I appreciate you for doing this. Thank you.